It's the ultimate what if in the dog world. On one side, you've got the Cane Corso, the Italian shadow, the Roman war dog that looks like it was sculpted out of black obsidian and sheer malice. On the other, you've got the South African Boerboel, a 200-pound fortress of muscle bred to stare down leopards and keep the homestead safe from anything that breathes. People love to debate this. They pull up bite force numbers, they look at height charts, and they scream in the comments about who would win a real-world scrap. But most of those people are looking at the wrong things. A fight between two apex guardians isn't just about who hits harder. It's about who has the higher kill switch and who has the endurance to finish what they started. Today, we're stripping away the pet labels. We're going to look at the physics of these two monsters and talk about what actually happens when a Corso and a Boerboel lock up. And look, I'm going to be blunt. One of these dogs is an athlete and the other is a demolition crew. By the end of this, you'll understand why the winner might not be the dog you expect. Let's talk about the challenger first, the Cane Corso. If we're talking purely about the intimidation factor, the Corso wins. When you crop those ears, you get a dog that looks like it belongs at the gates of the underworld. But look past the aesthetics. The Corso is a high-speed, high-precision tool. In a real encounter, the Corso has the first strike advantage. They are incredibly reactive, way more than the Boerboel. While a Boerboel is sitting back assessing the situation, the Corso has already closed the gap. The Corso's bite force is officially clocked around 700 pounds per square inch. That's enough to crush a house brick. But here's the thing, the Corso is a snap and hold fighter. They were bred to hunt wild boar, which means they are used to latching onto something that is fighting back with twice their weight. They have the agility to dance around a heavier opponent. If a Corso can use its superior speed to get a throat or neck grip before the other dog realizes the fight has started, it's over. The Corso is the professional assassin of the dog world. It wants to end the fight before it becomes a grind. But then you meet the Boerboel. And let me tell you, when people see a Boerboel in person for the first time, they don't say, wow, they say, oh my God. We're talking about a dog that can easily outweigh the Corso by 50 to 80 pounds. If the Corso is a tactical knife, the Boerboel is a sledgehammer. In a real encounter, weight classes exist for a reason. You can be as fast as you want, but if a 200-pound Boerboel puts his chest into you, physics takes over. The Boerboel's bite force is actually lower on paper, around 450 to 500 pounds per square inch. But don't let that fool you. The Boerboel's jaw structure is broader. They aren't just biting, they are crushing. They were bred to deal with African predators. Think about that. A Corso fought Roman enemies and wild boars. A Boerboel fought things that eat humans for breakfast. The Boerboel has a level of homestead intuition that is almost scary. They don't waste energy, they wait. They wait for you to make a mistake, and then they use their massive body weight to pin you. In a wrestling match, the Boerboel is the heavyweight champion. Once they get their weight on top of a Corso, the Corso's agility becomes irrelevant. So, let's look at the real encounter scenario. Imagine these two meeting on neutral ground. The Corso is going to be the aggressor. They are more boisterous, more reactive, and honestly, more easily triggered. The Corso is going to lunge first. And for the first 60 seconds, the Corso looks like the winner. They are faster, they are landing more strikes, and they are using that 700 psi to do real damage. But here is where the Boerboel's African DNA kicks in. These dogs have an incredible pain threshold. I've seen stories of Boerboels staring down hippos and not flinching. As the fight goes into the 2-minute mark, the Corso starts to redline. The Corso is an anaerobic fighter, high intensity, but they burn out. The Boerboel, on the other hand, is built for the long haul. They are stocky, they have thick skin, and they have a mental toughness that is hard to explain. They aren't trying to out-finesse the Corso, they are just waiting to catch a limb. Here's the turning point. In every real-world encounter between these two, it comes down to the bite and shake. The Corso has a denser, coarser coat, which gives it some protection, but the Boerboel has a thick, loose neck. If the Corso bites the Boerboel's neck, the Boerboel can literally turn inside its own skin and bite back. That's a Mastiff trait that people forget. The moment the Boerboel gets a hold, any hold, on the Corso's leg or shoulder, the Corso is in deep trouble. The Boerboel doesn't just hold on, they use their neck muscles to thrash. With 200 pounds of force behind that shake, bones snap. The Corso is a phenomenal athlete, but it is leaner. Its bones aren't as thick. Once the Boerboel turns this into a grappling match, the Corso's speed is neutralized. Now, let's talk about the mental edge. This is where it gets controversial. Many breeders will tell you that the modern Cane Corso has been softened. Because they've become so popular in the US and Europe, a lot of them have lost that raw Roman war dog edge. They're still tough, but they're more pet-like. The Boerboel, however, is still relatively raw. Most Boerboel bloodlines still come from working farms in South Africa, where if a dog isn't tough, it doesn't survive. In a fight to the finish, the Boerboel usually has more grit. They don't have a quit button. If a Corso realizes it's losing, it might try to create distance and regroup. If a Boerboel realizes it's losing, it just gets more determined. It's that farmer's bulldog mentality. They were bred to be the last line of defense. They don't back up. So, who wins? If you want my honest, unfiltered opinion, in a one-on-one flat ground encounter, I'm putting my money on the Boerboel 8 times out of 10. And it's purely because of the weight class. A 200-pound dog with homestead instincts is a nightmare for a 110-pound athlete. The Corso is the better bodyguard for a city environment. It's faster, it's more alert, and it can chase down a runner. But in a real encounter where both dogs are locked in, the Boerboel's sheer mass and never-die attitude make it the ultimate tank. But look, here's the reality check. If you're watching this because you want to test this, you're missing the point. Both of these dogs are legendary. The Corso is the king of the Italian streets, and the Boerboel is the king of the African veldt. They are both final boss dogs. If you own either one, you aren't just a dog owner, you're a lion tamer. I want to hear from the owners now. I know we've got Corso fans in the building who think the speed and the 700 psi bite force would shred a Boerboel before it could even blink. And I know we've got the Boerboel crowd who thinks the Corso is just a fancy boxer compared to their South African beast. Who is the real king of the Mastiffs? Is it the Roman war dog or the African guardian? Drop a comment below. Give me your stories. Have you seen these dogs in action? Do you think the Corso's agility wins, or does the Boerboel's mass take the crown? I read every single comment, and I love the debate.